Hello, I'm Scott Worrell.
And I'm Cynda.
We were asked to give a brief testimony on how God has used our family and life circumstances to grow in the area of living out godly priorities. Proverbs 16:9 says, "The mind of a man plans his way, but the Lord directs his steps." This verse accurately describes our life over the last 33 years of marriage. You would think that after that long, we would be masters at living out God's priorities for our family. Instead, we have learned that God's path for us is always evolving. We must be willing to selflessly give of our own desires and shift our priorities to serve where God is directing our steps.
As a young married couple, we watched other couples serve and alongside their children. We believe God called us to serve others, so we desired to make that a priority. As we grew a family, we wanted to teach our children to have that same priority. So we poured our life into serving. Scott served as a deacon. He was in charge of the youth group and helped to teach the young marrieds class. I was in choir, served as deacon's wife, and helped with the youth group. We served at children's church, the nursery, the Living Nativity, and we were in charge of the annual pig roast.
In 1994, God blessed us with twin sons, David and Kyle. They were born early at 24 weeks, which caused them both to have cerebral palsy and many other health complications. As the boys grew, the severity of their special needs became more apparent, along with the realization of time that was going to be needed to invest in their care. We believed that the boys were gifts from God, and because of that, they would become our main priority. So little by little, we stepped away from all the ministries that we had such a heart for. It was an extremely difficult thing to do, and for a long time, we carried guilt for no longer serving in the ways that we had planned. John 9:2 and 3. His disciples asked him, "Rabbi, who sinned, this man or his parents, that he would be born blind?" Jesus said, "It was neither this man that sinned nor his parents, but it was so the works of God might be displayed in him." We realized that God had given us our boys so that he could be glorified through them. God's still guiding our steps. We just need to change our priorities so that we follow him.
Over time, God showed us how our new priorities could become our ministry. We ministered to various therapists, teachers, nurses, and doctors along the way. David had over 50 surgeries in his lifetime and countless hospital stays. Many times, the hospital staff would say to us, "We don't know how you do it," and we would be able to point them to the grace of God. Scott was always by David's side whenever he was in the hospital, and the medical team would compliment on what an amazing father Scott was, and that it was rare to see a father that gave such love and such care. That opened the door to talk about our priorities with our boys and how God entrusted us to care for them.
Even though life was difficult, we believed that we had room in our family for more children. However, due to medical issues and multiple miscarriages, it looked like this was not in God's plan. But God was still guiding our steps, and through a series of events that only the God of the universe could put together, he allowed us to adopt our precious daughters, Cammie and Callie. As the girls grew, we found ourselves at times coveting the life that we had once planned. But we knew that God had us where he wanted us, and our main priority was still serving from and at home. Our desire was to raise our girls so that they love their special needs brothers and serve them, and to have a heart for people who were different. Our situation opened up opportunities for others to serve our family also. Many times when I was at work or Cynda couldn't leave the house, families from the church would serve us and show love by taking our daughters to various events or taking them to church. God used those families to help us teach our daughters how to love and serve others in need.
Allowing God to guide our steps, along with our priorities, many times brought about a career change and a decrease in income. After the boys were born, I resigned as an elementary teacher to become their full-time caregiver. I believed that God had called me to be a teacher, but I knew that my main priority was my sons. When the boys were 6, God brought a new opportunity that allowed me to be a work-from-home mom and a mentor and teach other women. God had a plan to use my teaching gifts while keeping my priorities to care for our boys. In 2012, God even changed Scott's career path through the loss of a job. This once again forced us to reprioritize what life needed to look like and the boys needed more intense care, so we decided for Scott to stay at home for a while and to care for them while I grew my business. It meant a considerable cut in income, but we had to trust in the Lord for His provision.
We also knew we needed to make our marriage a priority. 24-hour care for twin boys made it difficult to spend time alone together. We seldom could go on dates or getaway trips, so we had to be creative in making our time for each other. Date night consisted of one of us putting the kids to bed while the other picked up takeout for a late night supper. Our home wasn't large, and because of David's medical conditions, he needed his own room. The girls shared a room, so we had to move Kyle's bed into the master bedroom with Cynda. I slept on the couch with a monitor so I could listen and care for David throughout the night. Cynda and I didn't sleep together in the same room for the next 12 years.
In June of this year, our sweet David became critically ill, and God called him home. We find ourselves once again allowing God to guide our steps as we are having to reevaluate our plans and priorities as a couple and a family.
We're still learning how to prioritize our life path to please God. We lean on each other and God's promises daily. We fumble our way through serving our family and others so that we can bring glory to God. We've learned to hold our plans and priorities with an open hand, ready to follow God's plan as we undeservedly reap the rewards of His hidden blessings along the way.